Synthetic wigs are a great way to conceal hair loss or change up your style, but sometimes synthetic hair doesn't look quite as realistic as human hair. So today I'm going to be taking you through my tips for making a synthetic wig look realistic using this wig that I received from the Wig Company. Welcome to The Wiggy Woman, where I give you wig and hair topper reviews and tutorials to help you have the easiest path forward on your hair loss journey. Today I'm going to be taking you through kind of my unboxing routine for this wig right here, which is Luxurious from the Wig Company. This is a very affordable wig and it has a lot of the features that we love for making synthetic wigs look realistic. But I know it could look a little bit more realistic if I just put a little bit more love into this wig. So here's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be taking you through this part line. This is a monofilament part, but I like my part lines to really be set off and look like there's a scalp underneath. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you how to kind of come in here and to really make that part look as realistic as possible. And then these fibers are a little bit shiny, which is very common for synthetic blonde wigs. So to make this synthetic wig look more realistic, we are going to tone down the shine. And then lastly, you know, it has a little bit of poof to it. And if you like big hair, she could definitely, you know, get a lot of volume. But I am somebody who likes a really sleek look. So I am going to kind of tone down that pageant poof and make this styling work for me. So come with me as I show you how to make a synthetic wig look more realistic. Let's head over to my mannequin head. I personally like a very sparse part, so I'm going to stretch this out and expose the lace all the way down. So I'm moving the permatease and I'm moving the fibers until I can see the lace, and I am taking a pair of tweezers with a very pointed tip so I can get exactly the hairs that I want, and I am using kind of like a thinning approach. I don't want it to be completely, you know, bald at the part line. I just want to thin out a few of the fibers to make it a little bit more sparse. I don't want it to be rigid, so I'm going to make sure I pull from both sides, left and right. You want to be careful not to rip the lace or the monofilament while you're doing this. And one way that I like to do that is by pulling the fibers tight, either individually or just kind of with my fingers, stretching it out and pulling from there so you get a lot of tension. I also like to put my finger underneath the monofilament so that I can kind of gauge what that would look like when my scalp is showing underneath. You can kind of see here now this is looking much more sparse and everything is coming together. Here's a look at the final part line. I'm going to brush out the excess and you can see this is the hair that I plucked. Next, I want to give it a slightly less poofy appearance. So I'm going to take a wig safe styling cream and I'm going to wrap a scarf around my mannequin head and I'm going to tie it tight at the bottom, applying pressure at the crown. Then I'm going to take a blow dryer on low to apply some gentle heat to my wig. This is not heat friendly, so I'm keeping the blow dryer moving constantly and I'm feeling around to make sure nothing gets too hot. I'm going to continue to add pressure for at least a few hours, but you can let it cool overnight to really try and train those fibers to stay flat. This next step is only going to apply if you have a single monofilament top, which this wig is. I'm going to take a very, very full coverage concealer and a very thin brush, and I'm going to paint that along the monofilament that we exposed when we were widening the part. And I want to do this because I want to create the look of bleached knots or a scalp effect. With this monofilament or lace, you're going to see whatever is underneath that lace. And in my case, that's really dark brown and gray hair. So I am going to really cover that up and make this look more like a skin effect. And then to really make those fibers look like they're growing out of a scalp instead of a net, I'm going to take a thick layer of concealer, and I'm doing wider strokes here to really coat the underside of those fibers so that they're kind of coming out of a skin colored lace rather than the lace that you see here. You only really want to get the bottom, just tiniest bit of these fibers. If you get any concealer on the fibers, you can blot it away with your fingers, or you can use a makeup remover wipe. This is not a rooted style, but I do want to add a little bit more dimension for a look of more natural hair growth. So I'm taking some eyeshadow on a blush brush first, and I'm making some wide passes here just at the crown and around the part line. Then I'm going to go back in with a foundation brush so I can get a little bit tighter coverage right along that part line. And this just kind of helps to break it up and give you a little bit more of a natural appearance. And it also helps tame the shine at the crown, which is arguably the shiniest part of a wig. Now, to reduce the shine on the rest of the wig, I'm going to use a talcum-based dry shampoo. This one is meant for blonde and light-colored wigs. You'll notice that it leaves a white or a light cast on my wig. They also make this for brunettes that has a brown cast. This is going to look a lot whiter here in this frame than it does in real light because I have a very bright ring light, but you can see that this really dulls the shine quite a bit. So here are the final results. You'll see that after spraying that dry shampoo, it looked really white in that frame, but it really doesn't leave a white cast at all. You actually can see a lot more of the highlights and the dimension. Speaking of dimension, here is that kind of artificial temporary root that I added along with that part line that I plucked, and that faux bleach knots scalp effect really makes it look like those fibers are growing out of my head. It does look a little poofier on top than I had wanted, but I can always go back in with more gel. The true test of a shiny wig is going to be out in natural sunlight, which this is, and you'll see that this is very, very matte for a synthetic wig. I did put a link to Luxurious from the Wig Company, which is this wig right here, down in the description below. And again, this is an affordable wig, but it also has a lot of the features that we love for making synthetic wigs look realistic. If you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, please give it a thumbs up so that I know that you want to see more content on how to make synthetic wigs look realistic. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you subscribing, and if you haven't done so already, definitely hit that subscribe button so you never miss a wig or hair topper review or tutorial that's posted weekly. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.